Wolf, you numbskull, I can hear you cry. This is not Batman Returns. I think I know. But I want to showcase a decent, if not great, Batman game before showcasing Batman Returns. Ocean Software was legendary for releasing doubtful quality games, especially when it came to movie times. And thankfully, Batman was called the movie because it was a time to the Batman film of the late 80s. Was not one of those games. It is, in my opinion, the best movie time game Ocean ever released, and it is definitely one of my all-time favorite games, especially from Ocean. It is a game that I have completed both on the Commodore 64 and Amiga more times than I care to remember, and I still dust it off from time to time and enjoy playing it. Very good quality, both versions, definitely worth a play. But, haha, we are going to be switching to the game of the video's title, A Batman Returns. Surprise, inspired by the film of the same name, and it was a film that, when released, received mixed reviews by film critics. The general opinion was that the film was too violent and too mature, and did not appeal to a younger audience, which I suppose I can understand that viewpoint, but I own the film, and I enjoy watching it from time to time. But then again, I'm not a film critic. I'm not a games critic either. I just make videos of games and give you my opinion of them. And then you can decide for yourself whether you think I'm right or wrong. The game was done as a collaboration between Konami and GameTech. And while GameTech had some decent releases, they managed to acquire a reputation which was just as bad, if not worse, than Ocean's for releasing questionable quality games. To set up the first sequence of the game, it is the lighting of the Gotham City Christmas tree, which wasn't exactly the first sequence of the film, but it's quite early on in the film. And of course, this gang pops up and starts making a mess of everything, and Batman is called out to deal with it. Which it does, quite dramatically. And we will get to be playing that sequence as soon as we get to the gameplay. I'm not going to have commentary following the gameplay necessarily. I'm just going to make a comment on the graphics and sound and gameplay and how I think about those kind of things. And here we go. As we all remember from the film, Batman was fighting the motorcycle riding gang members, difficult word, gang members hand to hand. He did not drive past them in his Batmobile using flaps to knock them off the motorcycles. No, he didn't. You all remember that. In the game, you have to defeat enemies in hand-to-hand combat. The different levels are divided into different sections, and each section has a set amount of enemies that you need to dispose of in order to progress to the next section of the level until you have eventually completed the level. From a graphical point of view, it's not by definition bad, it's just odd. I know that the Batman character is somewhat recognizable, but to me it feels a bit like Batman decided to have a part-time job as a clown, because it's sort of right, but there's something goofy about it. That's opinion. Nothing is inherently bad looking. it's just odd, strange, weird, bizarre. The flow of the graphics is actually quite smooth, and everything moves at a decent pace. The sound is okay. The hit sounds are quite nice. The music is dark and brooding like the film's theme was, but you have certain issues when it comes to the gameplay. And anyone who's watched any of my videos will know that I am the type that will tolerate the shoddy graphics and crappy sounds for good gameplay. I would rather have that than I would have amazing graphics, amazing sound, and virtually no gameplay. That is the way I roll, and that is the way I have always rolled. I am playing games to have a good time. I'm not playing games to watch a movie. And that's what I watch movies for. So, I know that's an opinion, and I'm entitled to mine just as anyone else is entitled to their own. I'm a bit rude on the high score entry after the first play, but I decided to give it a solid chance. So I played a few more games, and this is a bit further down the line. See, the problem is you are fighting hand to hand, and if an enemy gets anywhere near you, you start taking damage. You can lose your lives extremely quickly in this game. The hitbox of both Batman and the enemies is about the size of a small boss. You will probably notice that I am standing in one position, kicking at mid-level, hitting enemies. The oddball thing is that if you actually try to do the low kick, which is lower on the screen than the middle kick, you will not hit the enemies. The thing is, I mean, you cannot fight enemies in any other way in this game, because you will just take massive damage, and your lives are going to vanish like dew before the sun. It is incredibly poorly designed. On top of that, the movement is momentum based, which means that the length and the height of jumps is based on how fast you're moving. You will gradually move slightly faster as you are running, but I mean, there's an upper limit to how fast you end up moving. But on top of that, of course, is the fact that if the term ice physics means anything to you, that is the general experience of this game. For those who may not know what we are referring to when we are referring to ice physics, we're talking about a feeling of running on ice, obviously, where the character is not responding immediately, it's not stopping immediately, it's just feel like you're gliding more than running. That is definitely the case, and trying to do precision jumps that are momentum based with ice physics just becomes a glorified nightmare. The thing is though, and this is a point about this game, I would say it annoys me. I would actually say it borderlines angering me. We all know that the film critics were against the film not appealing to a younger audience, but we also all know that parents would buy these kind of games for their kids anyway. I mean, it's Batman. Batman's exciting. You want to give your child a decent present. And any parent buying this game for their children would have done it in good faith. Unless, of course, they were smart enough to read reviews, which everyone should always do, but a lot of people still don't. Anyone buying this game, whether it was for themselves or for someone else, would have been extremely disappointed, because the game is virtually unplayable. when you do a tie-in of any kind by making a game, you take on a certain responsibility, especially when it's characters that everyone knows and everyone likes, most everyone, because you know it's going to be a draw. If that draw is meant to be used to suckering people into spending their hard-earned money on your incomplete, unplayable product, I can't say that I gave it my full approval. Always watch reviews from people you trust. That is the lesson learned from a game like this. On that note, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.